Yeah, we got up and coffee, presents, and then I'm like, gotta go to town hall. um,
We have an exciting day today.
we do have an exciting day today.
We do.
Where are we at? 9:02. Should we get going?
Yes.
All right. All right. Welcome, everybody, to the weekly Clubhouse Town Hall special Mother's Day edition at 9 a.m. Pacific. And what we try and do is just talk a little bit about what's going on in Clubhouse, what we've been building, what's coming up next, any company announcements that we have. And then we spend most of the time answering questions. So if you have any questions, go to support.clubhouse.com. Note the new clubhouse.com domain. So it's shorter now, just support.clubhouse.com. And scroll to the bottom, and you'll see a link to submit a question for Town Hall. I'm Paul. I'm the co-founder of Clubhouse. This is Rohan, my co-founder. This is Anu, our teammate. And if you've already submitted a question, what we try and do is get to the most important ones, the most frequently asked ones, and make sure we cover all of those. But if you come up with a question while we're doing Town Hall, feel free to just go there, support.clubhouse.com, scroll to the bottom, and we'll try and get to it at the end. Did I miss anything, or should we jump into it?
Nope. We got a lot to talk about.
All right. Should we bring Steph up, talk about the highlights?
Yes.
Where's the hat? All right. I'll make you a mod too.
Sounds good. All right.
Steph Simon, come on up.
I invited her up.
Let's see. I invited her too. Rohan, you ready to read highlights? Yeah, come on.
I'll do it. I will do it.
Oh
no.
Let's triage. She didn't get the invite. All right, let me just add her. 1 second. There she is.
I'm here. At first, I was like, did I change my photo too soon? Because I was also going to change my photo to me and my mom. But I was like, no, they won't find the hat.
It's got to be one where your mom's wearing a hat.
Your mom wears hats too, Steph.
No, she doesn't. Susie did not. But quick shout out, Susie. Happy Mother's Day. All right. I wanted to begin this week's highlights with a sincere thank you to a few different folks. First, everyone who rallied together for some truly incredible fundraising and relief efforts for the ongoing COVID crisis in India, specifically the Global Jam session on Friday, pulled together by Mohit Arora. It included several musicians from India, USA, Canada, UK, Nepal, Jamaica, Nigeria, Japan, and Brazil. It was really, really amazing. Like I said, there were several this week and even a couple more ongoing today. I know there's a Indian Mothers room also later today with proceeds that are going to be going to relief. So shout out to everyone about that. And on a note of celebration, of course, all of our participants in the Creative First pilot season, we cannot wait to see what you do. And it was really heartwarming to hear all the congratulations and all the love being shared in reaction rooms after our announcement on Wednesday. Specifically, Portia Bell, the sheer joy for others in your voice was felt. The community is everything here. As Paul mentioned, I know we're not the only one who's giving thanks for moms today. Happy Mother's Day, everyone. Huge shout out to all the incredible women out there raising the next generation of wonderful humans. I hope you guys are taking some time today. Okay, although I know there are some moms on Clubhouse who simply do not quit, motherhood and parenting clubs are a growing space here in Clubhouse. One we're definitely watching and looking to support. Let me give a quick shout out to some of the clubs and conversations that have caught my eye recently. Yesterday, Celeste Hubbard, Earth founder Kimberly Seals Allers, and Katie Longmire hosted Birthing While Black, an incredible conversation about how together we can end racism in maternity care. This is a really hot point right now. The Grinding Stone Club held a room on Indigenous motherhood and parenting with Brooke Rodriguez, Kay Matena, and Cherish Clark. The Moms Link Club, hosted by the hilarious Sandra Zickerman, talked about the good, the bad, and the unbelievable parts of motherhood. A couple other shout outs to some clubs that didn't host this week, but you should definitely check them out. We have the Real Moms Club, the Special Needs Mom Connect Club, and the Parenthood Club. There's some really great conversations happening in all of these clubs, conversations that often don't get heard by the rest of the world. So I really encourage you to listen. We also had a few notable rooms in the world of TV and film. Friends got treated to a gender bending table read of the pilot episode on the Only Room Club. I believe they're going to do a lot more Friends table reads. So for all of you Friends fans out there, keep an eye out. Adruja Apana and the Storymakers Club went deep into Hollywood history with two of Clubhouse's great Garys. Gary Goldstein, the producer of Pretty Woman, and of Gary Pearl, the executive producer of Jane the Virgin. We absolutely loved hearing the stories about meeting Julia Roberts for the first time before she was a household name. I really love that room. We had two tales from Netflix land. First, Miley Cabral brought on Joey Sasso, the winner of The Circle on Netflix. I know many of you are obsessed with that show. Anu, hint, hint, looking at you here. Then the strong black lead team got deep into all things girlfriends, sister, Moesha, and all the black sitcoms that we know and love when they hosted a special edition Sitcom Squares on Friday. And it wasn't just the Hollywood types doing the storytelling. This is so true to the spirit of Clubhouse. So I thought it'd be worth calling out two very popular rooms that encourage people to share their own personal stories with a twist. Dana Bowling asked guests to share their life story in 60 seconds, and the always great Film Talk with Kat and Sel challenged people to pitch their life as a movie. I foresee that one coming back quite a bit. That's just the tip of the iceberg of everything great on Clubhouse this week. I'm going to turn it back over to Paul, but one last reminder, we're beginning pilot season tomorrow. So please go to the Clubhouse HQ homepage. You can see, given our, by the way, shout out Paul Rohan and the team, given our new update last week, you can now tap on our club profile page and see all the programs that are going to be hosted because everything's going to be hosted in Clubhouse HQ. So this is going to be a really fun few weeks, so please give Clubhouse HQ a follow so you don't miss anything. All right, guys, back to you.
Thank you, Steph. Before we get into everything else going on, I just wanted to, in addition to sincerely thanking all of the mothers with us today, and my own mother, I wanted to give a shout out to Amanda, who many of you know here on Clubhouse. Amanda and I met in high school, so she's been, we grew up together, and she has been dealing with my silly startup ideas for a long time, and we've got 3 little kids. And I think this past year, it's been building Clubhouse and just being part of this. It's been the most exciting thing that I've ever had a chance to build in my whole life. And I literally couldn't do it without Amanda. Like I contribute nothing around the house these days because I'm just all Clubhouse all the time. And she's just been wonderful. Like during pandemic, just, bringing me coffee and like food and taking care of all of the household, like everything that we need to do, all the hard questions and kids and house stuff. Like she does everything for our family. This is Rohan was talking about posting a picture for Mother's Day. I was looking for one from Amanda, and I took one from the other night, which I think is not atypical, but I wanted to update my profile photo. I came into the room to go to bed like late at night after work. This is Amanda in bed with our daughter sideways with her feet on Amanda's head, and Amanda's just sitting there like smiling, taking care of everything. So huge happy Mother's Day, and thank you to Amanda for allowing me to work on this product, and to all the moms out there who do this stuff every day. So happy Mother's Day, everybody. And I will change my photo back to my normal photo before Amanda kills me.
Can I do a quick shout out to Jen too? Like +1 to everything Paul said. We're just so grateful for our wives, and Jen does everything for my daughter. I do like a fraction, and so I'm just lucky to have her in my life. And happy Mother's Day, Jen.
Happy Mother's Day, Jen. All right. So before we get into the release notes for this week, we're going to reset the room with some special news. This one is big enough that we wrote a blog post about it. So as we like to do, Rohan and I would like to just read the blog post to you, so people hear it first in Town Hall on Clubhouse. So you ready, Rohan? I'll go first paragraph. We'll alternate.
Let's do it.
All right. The title of the blog post is Welcome Android Users. All right. It has been a little over a year since we set out to build a new type of network, a more human place on the internet based on voice, where people from all corners of the world could come together to talk and listen, hang out, share, debate, learn from each other, deepen friendships, meet new people, and experience unforgettable moments together.
We've always taken a measured approach to growth, keeping the team small, building in public, and getting feedback from the community along the way. When you scale communities too quickly, things can break. So we started Clubhouse on a single platform and have expanded gradually through an invite model.
Earlier this year, Clubhouse started growing very quickly as people all over the world began inviting their friends faster than we had ever expected. This had its downsides as the load stressed our systems, causing widespread server outages and notification failures and surpassing the limits of our early discovery algorithms. It made us shift our focus to hiring, fixing, and company building rather than the community meetups and product features that we normally like to focus on. It was an important time of investment, which we think will help us serve the community much better in the long run.
The good thing about this period is that it has shown us how universal voice is as a medium. The same types of rooms that we saw forming last year in the US quickly started forming in Japan, Brazil, and Nigeria. Farmers in rural Georgia have been making friends with entrepreneurs in Tanzania. Film clubs have formed in India. We've seen German debate rooms, Italian sing-alongs, and Middle Eastern quiz shows. We've seen firsthand what we've always believed, that the need to gather with other humans is universal. Throughout this period, we have felt the need to be cross-platform more strongly than ever.
Today, we are thrilled to share that Clubhouse for Android will start rolling out in beta immediately. We'll begin gradually with the US today, followed by other English-speaking countries, and then the rest of the world. Our plan over the next few weeks is to collect feedback from the community, fix any issues we see, and work to add a few final features like payments and club creation before rolling it out more broadly. If you're an Android user, you can download Clubhouse for Android and sign up now to be alerted once it's available in your area. And you can also go to support.clubhouse.com to read the FAQ.
As a part of the effort to keep the growth measured, we will be continuing the waitlist and invite system, ensuring that each new community member can bring along a few close friends. As we head into the summer and continue to scale out our backend, we plan to begin opening up even further, welcoming millions more from the iOS waitlist, expanding language support, and adding more accessibility.
Marketing team, the comms team, it's just been a whole team effort, and everyone's been working really hard to get it out as fast as we possibly can. So, that's the situation. We're on Android now. Rohan, anything else you want to say about the details of the rollout?
What did you want me to say?
I'm just making sure I didn't miss anything.
I was like, maybe you told me to say something, but I forgot.
Well, we're trying to roll it out everywhere in the next few weeks, right? And
Yep.
we're as we always do on Clubhouse, we try to put it out there, get feedback, make sure we're fixing any bugs, getting any reports, and then just go as fast as we can based on that. So anyone can download it now. Like I mentioned, if you're in the US, you should be able to start using it now. If it hasn't rolled out in your area yet, then you can still download it from Google Play and you can get alerted as soon as it's live in your area. All right. I don't know how I'm going to beat that in terms of announcements, but I guess I'll go into like the release notes now. And if you have any questions about the Android release, please go to support.clubhouse.com, scroll to the bottom, and you can submit a question for Town Hall, and we'll try and get to it at the end of Town Hall today. All right. Next thing I wanted to mention was a little bit about the Creator First program that Steph mentioned. I just wanted to like plus one the enthusiasm that she expressed about the Creator First program. We have just been astonished by the creativity at every step in this process. And we just can't wait for the community to come and enjoy all of the pilot shows that are going to be happening over the coming weeks. And also just wanted to give a little bit more background about the goals of the program because we had some questions about that. First, I saw a few headlines that called the pilots a Clubhouse slate or original content. That is not the case. That kind of brings to mind like a lineup of TV shows or movies that are owned by a network or a studio. That's not what these are. We are just supporting participants with equipment if they need equipment, with marketing support, and guaranteeing them some basic income from it for the coming months, really to help them realize their creative vision for the pilots. We do not own these programs. This is not content that we have produced. The IP stays with the creator 100%. And that's really a reflection of the philosophy that we have. We don't want to own anyone's IP. There are a lot of companies doing that. What we're trying to do with everything we build, with payments, with the Creator First program, with a bunch of other monetization stuff that's in the works, is to give creators who are interested in creating the ability to earn an income, the support that they need, so they can have the freedom to create. So the reason we want to do it this way is just to ensure that the business interests of Clubhouse are aligned with the interests of the community. It's one of our foundational goals. And so you'll be hearing a lot more about that from us in the months to come, but I'm so excited for the pilot shows that are coming up. Okay. Past week's release, we did a couple releases on the iOS front this past week while we were working on getting Android out. Last Sunday, after Town Hall, we shipped a release that had a few things. One is better prompts for people to follow your club. So if you're in a room that is hosted by a club, or if you're hosting a room and there are people in the audience who have been there for a few minutes and they seem like they're enjoying it, then we'll show a little toast. If they're not already following your club, that says, "Oh, are you enjoying this? You should try following, so-and-so club." Or if it's not hosted by a club, it'll prompt them to follow you as a speaker. A lot of times when you're talking, people might not think to do this, especially with clubs. They don't think to tap the club name at the top of the screen. And so, and we don't want you to have to like reset the room all the time and ask people to follow your club. So we just built it into the product, and we hope that this helps people get more connected without the host having to remind people about it. The second thing, we had rolled out the Android beta test before the launch today. We added a bunch of plumbing for improved discovery and notification quality and abuse prevention. I mentioned this over the last few town halls, but we're doing a lot of work under the hood to help make your follow suggestions, the rooms you see in your feed, the club suggestions you get, the notifications you receive better and better and better over the coming weeks and months. So we added a lot of tooling for that, and also some tooling to continuously improve trust and safety. And then we made some improvements to Voiceover accessibility support. So we made it a lot easier to find out who's speaking with voice for our Voiceover users. There's a feature called the magic tap gesture where you can double tap with 2 fingers anytime you want within a room, and the system will announce who's currently speaking. So that was stuff that we shipped out on Sunday. And then on Friday, we did another release, which had some fun client features. The first one is we introduced the new bell. So you can now RSVP for events. So before, when you were in the calendar, you might have noticed there was a little bell, and that bell indicated whether you would be notified about that event because you already followed the club or you followed the speakers. It was really confusing. There was no way to RSVP for a single event, and it structurally wasn't really the right long-term solution. So we implemented a proper way to RSVP for an event. So now anytime you see an event, whether that's in the calendar, on someone's profile, or on a club page, you'll see a little bell next to it, and you can tap the bell, and that means, "Ooh, I want to go to this event." And it means that if you've tapped the bell on an event, it'll show up in your mini calendar at the top of the hallway, You'll get a special notification that has a different look and feel that'll buzz so you can reliably get notified when that event starts. And I think most importantly, we're going to be able to use that information to better recommend events to you and to your followers all across Clubhouse, because we can tell people when a lot of their friends or when a lot of people who are interested in similar topics have RSVP'd to an upcoming event. So, you should think of this as like a public RSVP, kind of like you might have on any other service. And with this change, we're going to be rolling out a bunch of improvements to the calendar view. You might have noticed on the calendar view, as Clubhouse has grown, the list of upcoming For You events has gotten really, really big and noisy, and it's hard to find ones that are like the top ones that you might want to attend. This should help that. So you can imagine in the future, you'll probably see fewer and much higher quality recommendations. In the future, we want to tell you when like who's going to an event, so you can get a sense for it in advance. If you're a creator, like someone taps on your profile, they'll see the event right there. They can RSVP for it, and then it will propagate out to other people in the network. So I think it's just it might seem like a small thing from a UI perspective, but it's a really important piece of plumbing to help make recommendations on Clubhouse better and better and better, and to help great conversations get more and more visibility over time. So like if you I guess this is getting to the second thing. The second thing that we did is we added upcoming events that someone is hosting directly on their user profile, which is something a lot of people have suggested. It's obvious we should have this, and I think it's going to be a really great thing to have. So if you tap on my profile right now, you can see that I'm a co-host on an event with Dr. Fauci that's happening in 2 days, which I'm really excited about, actually. And you can tap the bell and you can RSVP for it. It will show up in your mini calendar. You'll get a reliable notification when it starts. So again, like discovery is a huge area of investment for us right now. It's probably the most important thing that we can do to help make Clubhouse a great experience for everyone. So now anytime you tap on someone's profile and they're hosting an upcoming event, you'll see it right there, and you can tap the bell to RSVP for it. We also made some important improvements to VoiceOver. When we shipped the release last Sunday, a couple things broke. So we fixed the hallway problems that some VoiceOver users were experiencing. We improved how we tag social rooms. We improved the formatting and the accessibility label. So huge apologies to anyone who had issues with this over the past week or so. And a huge thanks to everyone who helped us identify and make those changes quickly. And then finally, we did a lot of small improvements and bug fixes. We updated some of the links in the app to point to clubhouse.com instead of joinclubhouse.com. We added the ability to swipe away that prompt that shows up inviting you to follow a club, because there were some weird edge cases there, and it would come up twice, which is really annoying. We fixed the bug where that was appearing multiple times if you minimize the room. We fixed some scrolling issues that were happening in the calendar view and some crashes, and again, continue to do a bunch of work under the hood. So those were the two releases that we did this past week. And then in addition to rolling out Android starting today, we're working on another release that we're hoping to get out in the next few days. And that's going to have a few improvements to payments that will let you thank someone if they pay you. We're going to do something which is kind of fun. It's a small thing, but I think it'll be really cool. We're making it so that if you mention someone on your profile, then people will be able to tap on that and go visit that person's profile. So it'll be fun. You can mention your friends. You can mention lists of users that you would recommend following. It's kind of like an old school blog roll. So simple change, but we're adding out mentions in bios. And then we're doing some work to provide user suggestions and topic suggestions directly in the feed, which again will really help with discovery, I think. And finally, on the discovery side, we're overhauling a bunch of stuff related to notifications. And we're kind of doing two things there. One is we're always going to be investing deeply in the notification algorithms and notification settings so that we send you the right notifications. But then we're also doing an overhaul on how notifications are displayed so that they're easier to scan, they're more visual, and they're just better. And we'll have a bunch of other stuff in this next week's release, but those are the things that are probably most visible in the client that are worth calling out. So more details to come. All right, that was a big upfront section, Anu. I know we probably got a lot of questions to go through as well. But some really exciting stuff today. Should we jump into Q&A for the remaining 35 minutes or so?
Absolutely should. And we can challenge ourselves to get through these even faster than we already do.
Oh, and again, before we get into questions, if you have any additional questions about Android or anything else, go to support.clubhouse.com and scroll to the bottom, and you'll see a link where you can submit a question to Town Hall.
Such a short URL.
I know, I love it.
I like it.
We're
Okay.
also at Clubhouse on Twitter and Instagram now. So
Perfect.
we just changed the username, so nothing new to do if you were following Join Clubhouse, but just a heads up, we've cleaned it up across the board.
One more thing, we're getting a lot of DMs, and the answer is yes. You can begin inviting all of your Android friends right now, wherever you are in the world.
That's so exciting. I can't even believe you didn't mention that. Yes, if you go to the hallway, and if you have any invites, you'll see a little envelope icon at the top of the hallway. You can invite Android friends now.
Okay.
Thanks.
We'll keep, I'm sure we keep getting these patch updates from our team. I love it. And we interject into our live town halls. Okay. All right. Let's start with some navigation and discovery questions, which are always top of mind. So a question around getting back to the hallway or the home screen. Can you please add a home button so I could easily get back to the start instead of having to basically click like back several times? I think when you've kind of gone through a discovery train. So like if you click on someone's profile and you click on somebody else's profile and you keep going, it sounds like maybe it's hard to get back to the home.
Yeah, totally. This is a good point. This is why a lot of apps switch to a tab bar over time, which is a persistent list of 3 to 5 icons that live at the bottom of the app. Rohan, do you have any other thoughts? I mean, it's a good idea, right? Like if you start to explore people and you tap from person to person and club and person to person to person, you have to hit back a whole bunch of times. And I think the answer to that is yes, we should have some sort of home button, and we're probably going to have to like refactor the architecture at some point, and we'll probably want to add a tab bar at some point. Do you have any other thoughts on that from an end perspective?
There's actually a hidden iOS feature that if you long press on the back button, then you can go all the way back. That's the only other thing that I can add right now, but I agree that the long-term solution is a tab bar.
Right. Does that bring up like the history of all the ones and you can tap
Yep.
on like any of them, or does it actually take you
No,
all
I
the way
think
back?
it brings up a history and then you can kind of go back to the previous ones.
Oh yeah, I forgot that was the native iOS thing. Yeah. Cool. Well, that's a good answer, I think. Not a perfect answer because we don't have a single button, but it's helpful. So pro tip for anyone, tap and hold on the back button if you want to go back multiple steps at a time.
Okay. Around club notifications. When I get notifications on my phone for a new room, could the first word be the name of the club or group instead of individual members? I think we've heard variants of this in terms of having topic first for room titles, but this one sounds like for clubs.
Yeah. So notifications, we're doing a lot of work on that right now. I think it's really good feedback. I don't actually know if there is one way of doing it that is definitively better, because I imagine there are some times where if it's like a club that you have a really strong affinity for, that like some people say they want to see the club name first, some people say they want to see the title first, and some people say, well, if it's my best friend, like I want to see her name first because that's going to help inform whether or not I tap on this thing the most. And I guess the only thing I would say is like it's not as straightforward as just changing it, because it depends on not just the type of connection, like or the type of information, like title, club name, person name, but also the strength of that connection. Is it a club you really care about? Is it a really interesting title? Is it a friend that you really care about? And so I imagine that we're going to be iterating a lot on that, and I don't know where it's going to end up, and it might not even be a consistent thing because it might be a case by case basis. So just know that that is on our radar. That's one of the options that we're going to be testing and looking at. And this stuff like notifications are there. I can't even overstate how important they are for a live service like Clubhouse. And so Adrian and the team are hard at work on making these things better every day.
More questions about I guess what we can really learn from the hallway, or what folks can learn before entering a room. So in the hallway, on the cards showing people in suggested rooms, it'd be great to have some indication who of the people in the room I follow. In other words, why do I see certain rooms in my feed? Additionally, once I'm in the room, it'd be handy to also have some indication of who in the room I already follow.
Yes, I think these are good suggestions. So basically, for context, the rooms that you see at the top of the hallway are rooms typically from people you follow. And that could mean that they're speaking. It could mean that they're in the audience. And the hard part is with group stuff, the 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 definition of like this is content from someone you follow is a little bit cloudy, because if there are 20 people speaking and one of them is someone you follow, does that mean that you follow the creator of that room? Or if there are 1,000 people in the audience and one person you follow is in the audience, does that mean it's in your follow feed? Like the whole thing is a little less clear. And one thing that we have struggled with, frankly, is finding the right design that can capture all of that information, because you want to know, are they a speaker or are they a listener, and do you follow them or do you not follow them? And if you don't follow them, why is that room being suggested to you? Because there are some times where rooms can make their way into your feed even if you don't follow them, because they're trending for people who are really interested in a topic that you really care about or something like that. And so I think that I think that the main thing I would say there is that 100%, like, we're playing with a lot of we have played with a lot of different designs there. You should expect that that's going to change a lot over time. And and I know it's not perfect right now. It's just a matter of balancing like information density with cognitive overhead and complexity when we're trying to communicate too many things at the same time. And then I think the second one was, when I'm in the room, can you show me people who I already follow? I think that this would be, I think that this is going to be useful. So right now, what we do is we show you speakers, we show you people who are followed by the speakers, and then we show you everyone else. And that is useful, I think, because it allows the people who are followed by the speakers, those are kind of follow suggestions, right? So if you're in this room, presumably you like the speakers and you're interested in what they're saying, and the speakers think that these people are interesting, so maybe you'll want to follow them too. And it gives people an incentive to get to the show early, because it gives them more visibility. Like there are like 4 or 5 reasons why I think that section is useful. The other thing that is a property of Clubhouse rooms right now is that everyone sees the same view, which is often useful if you're trying to say like, oh, my friend so and so is here, she's 4 rows down, third from the left. And and if we wanted to show you a section that was just your friends, well, we could either just bold their names, but that might be hard to scan, especially in larger rooms, or we could put them in a separate section. We could obviously do like a filtered view or something like that. So this is another one of those ones where I'm kind of telling you a bit of like the the messiness behind how we think about it. But I would say the room view is also going to evolve, especially as we make rooms that can handle it like an unlimited number of people. Because at that point, you're just practically not going to be able to see everyone who's in the room, right? And so how should it evolve then? As we add other features, there are going to be new use cases for seeing friends who are in the room. So I totally agree this would be a useful thing. Those are the reasons why we haven't done it yet. It's going to evolve, and we'll probably have a way to do that in the future.
Can I do this is speaking of room discovery, can I do a quick shout out? So apparently there's a techno town hall going on in a different room where they're just doing a remix of this room. So if folks want to check it out,
can I hop
you should
over?
check it out.
What is
All
anyone
right.
doing in this room when there's a techno town hall going?
Now I understand why people want to be in 2 rooms at once.
Rohan, you're not telling me that you were bored by my product pontificating, and so you were browsing the hallway, were you?
If only I could be in 2 rooms at the same time.
Oh man. Okay. A related question, not entirely, but related to rooms and seeing maybe what has happened in the past. So can there be a way for me to see rooms I was in recently maybe just the past 24 hours as a suggestion. Lots of times I'm listening while I'm in the conversation, and afterwards I want to view profiles of the hosts and speakers, but I can't access those.
So Rohan, we are contemplating a way of viewing some of the people that you've listened to recently, right?
Right. We thought that that would be a really good way for you to know who to follow.
Yeah. So we're working on some stuff like that right now. And again, lots of details around how to implement that. But there is some stuff there coming down the pipe.
Perfect. Short and sweet. Okay. Quick one on notifications. Is it possible to I guess this is a question of if this happens today. Is it possible to receive notifications more than once for the same room? And if so, is there any way to kind of not have that happen?
Yeah, it is. So here's the tricky part about that. What if there is a room that is happening and there's someone who you follow who starts speaking and they're not that interesting to you? And you see the notification, you're like, yeah, I don't really want to join. But then like 4 of your friends join, or someone who's like, you know, some famous person who you always wanted to hear joins. Then it would generate another notification for the same room, because that room can actually get more interesting, which can affect your decision about whether you would want to join it. Now, there is not a way to say never notify me about the same room twice. But what you can do is if you go to your notification settings, go to profile, then tap settings, you can just adjust the frequency. And if you say send me fewer notifications, then it would be less likely for that to happen. But I don't actually think you would want that to never happen, because there are some times where like a room that isn't so interesting at the beginning gets really interesting when a few other people join.
Yeah, and John just pinged and was saying that this is literally something that we're working on right now just to get the overall best user experience for this. So
Yeah, exactly.
okay, let's run through a few questions as quickly as possible about room and club features. So one around speaking time. It'd be cool if speakers on stage's avatars got bigger when they spoke. This is an example of how this could be implemented. That way you could have an indication of how long a person had been speaking relative to others on the stage.
Ha! I think that, oh, that's so interesting. I think that could have some weird implications. Does that mean that you want to just talk all the time so that it gets bigger and bigger and bigger?
I don't want to see how that would look in our new user orientation.
I don't want to see how that would look. So for anyone who hasn't been, we do new user orientation every Wednesday at 6:00 Pacific. And I normally talk for the first 45 minutes and just like give an overview of Clubhouse and the norms and the culture and what all the buttons do. And so the whole app would be my head basically, and I don't think anyone wants that. but I would say
there's a good spirit of this question, I think, which is
great. Totally, the spirit of it is great. So I think the other questions here is like, who should that be visible to? Are you like public? Hopefully, you're not publicly shaming them. You're just sort of making them aware, making the other mods aware. Because yes, as someone who tends to speak a lot, I can tell you it's it's an issue, and a lot of the best stages are often a lot more balanced. So I love that idea. It's not something that we are shipping in the next few weeks, because we're just really focused on Android and Discovery, honestly, and a few other things. But I think it's a great idea, and something I imagine we'll have in the future.
Okay, we've been seeing a lot of rooms with important intellectual debates. So there's a question around a potential polling feature. There are hot debates going on in some rooms. It'd be great if you could add real-time voting as a way that the audience can express their opinion, just agree or disagree when someone speaks, and you'd let the moderator decide if the results are accessible by all people in the room or kept private to the stage.
Yeah, I think that's cool. And people hack around it right now, which I love, but I know they're not ideal. So some people use the hand raise queue for that. The challenge is that you have to clear the queue each time if you want to do that. So you'll be like, everyone raise your hand if you agree. Okay, now raise your hand if you disagree. And so they do it that way. Other people do it by telling people to upload their profile photo, upload a different profile photo. So everyone will do like a red and a green or something like that, and they'll all change in PTR to do votes. But I love the idea of having something be a lot more seamless. Like room tools in general are an area that I think are just really like rich with opportunity, and I think that's one that we've had requested a few times. Like I know there was a room with Howie Mandel actually talking about like game shows, and he was saying he really wanted one for a game show, and I thought it was a great idea. So I think it's a great idea. I think we should have that. In the meantime, that's how some people are hacking around it, either using the hand raise queue or using PTR, or I think in some cases, if everyone's on stage, they'll actually do it with the mute button too. They'll do blinking mute buttons.
This is it's a bit related. So can you talk just a little bit about if we're thinking about more overall improvements for the hand raises? That was an additional question, which I think relates a bit to what you were
Oh yeah,
starting to talk
I
about.
think there's a lot of stuff we could do to improve hand raising, and I think like we had a question about wanting to learn more about users directly without having to tap on their profile. So I think that this is this is an area I get really excited about, because I think a lot of times the best social products can allow you to do things better than you could in the real world. And some of the examples that I've used in the past, I think it's like with Tinder, with the double blind mechanic, you can date without getting rejected. Like that's pretty amazing. Or with Amazon, it's like being able to go to the store and pick up a product and instantly see 5,000 reviews and photos and FAQ and everything else about it, which you just literally can't do in the physical world, which is amazing, right? And with the hand raise queue, it's like, can we use the intelligence of the network and the information we have to help you make the right decisions about whether to bring someone up? And we do that in a basic way. Like we'll tell you if certain people who you follow this person, and that can inform whether you want to call them up or whether you want to follow them on the app. We also have a feature that goes in the other direction, which is if a lot of people that you follow have blocked this person, then we'll tell you that. So not necessarily a bad thing. Maybe they just have strong opinions, but we want to help inform. We want to help you make the right decisions for you. And so I think there's a lot more that we could be doing in the hand raise queue. It's one of those things that, again, falls into this category of like, yep, makes total sense. We prototyped some stuff there. Love that idea. We're just right now prioritizing some other stuff first, because things like discovery, Android, all that stuff is just so important. I mean, a lot of this goes back to what we said earlier in the blog post. The fact is, like, over the past few months, we've grown so fast all over the world, and like it just caused a lot of things to break, right? I mean, like you saw server errors, you saw like discovery getting harder, and we didn't have language filtering. Like it just it impacts the user experience. Like I think since we started Clubhouse last March, we've always said we want to grow Clubhouse in a measured way, because that's the right way to grow communities, right? Like you want to add people in waves and ensure that each time you add a new wave of people, the experience for everyone who's already on the app gets better rather than worse. And that's what we've done for most of the life of Clubhouse. But I do think that earlier this year, people just started inviting people faster than we had ever anticipated, and that caused the experience to suffer. And so we've been really trying to prioritize things like discovery and performance and hiring and building out the team so we can have more people to scale the experience, because we take a really long-term perspective with Clubhouse, and we just want to make sure that all the foundations are right. So it's been an incredible time where we've scaled out the team a lot. We've built out a lot of the back end. We built out a lot of the discovery systems, and now we can kind of take a breath and implement things with a much better foundation, and keep building the community. And so with features like this, I'm so excited to do these things. They're like fun projects. You know how cool it would be within the room to have these things, but we've always just tried to prioritize pretty ruthlessly, because we've historically been a small team. So when we say what's the single most important thing we could be spending our time on right now, it's discovery and just making Clubhouse available to to more people around the world. And hopefully we can get to all of the in-room stuff in the coming weeks and months.
Okay, I'm going to dive into something real specific again.
Yeah.
So a question about button placement. So the move to audience button right now. I guess we've gotten some feedback that maybe it should be put somewhere that is not easy to accidentally push when you're trying to view someone's profile when you pull up the half sheet. So I guess the question is, would it be possible for us to help people avoid mixing these two buttons up?
Oh, interesting. So the specific buttons that appear and the order in which they appear, it's kind of a function of whether you're on a mod or not a mod, and whether that person follows you or doesn't follow you. So right now, when I see move to audience, it's usually at the bottom. And so I'm not sure where we could put it. If it was just one of those buttons, I'm not sure where we could put it that would make it harder for you to accidentally tap on it, but I'm sure there's got to be a solution to that. Let's talk about it internally and see if there's a better place to put it. I haven't heard of that problem happening too often, but if that's something that's happening pretty commonly, then I'm sure that's something we could fix. And the idea of adding an "Are you sure?" thing, we could do that, and maybe that's the right idea. It just adds friction each time you want to do it. So I don't. The thing that I worry about is, like, a lot of times people call people up, they take a question, then they move them back down, and that's just kind of the normal course of business. And so if someone's doing that really frequently, having an iOS alert pop up every time could be pretty annoying.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little bit like a keyboard, getting used to where the buttons are, but we have to obviously optimize it a little bit too.
Right.
So.
Or maybe there's like a 2-second delay with an undo button or something like that we could do.
Okay, quick one on moderator badges. So we've talked about this a few times, and I think we've also asked people to give us more feedback